Get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. You can also find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. Folks, it's a beautiful day here in Vegas, as usual. And guess what? Today we got Waz in the house from Bettor IQ. Also, my co-host, Oklahoma Brian, and Florida Rick. We got a great show. We're going to be breaking down the chess tournament. Waz has got a lot of great stuff on college basketball, which Oklahoma Brian's got some really nice stuff on an NFL game, and, of course, Florida Rick with his NBA. Well, guys, how's it going out there in the East and Central?
In Central.
Very, very hot, hot and sunny here today.
Yeah, the Central is cold and windy. So.
Well, Waz,
you think you got us beat?
Glad you came on the show, brother.
Yeah, it's you're right. It's nice in Vegas. I actually went for a hike this morning out at Red Rock Mountains, and it was beautiful out there. The sun is out. It's like in the low 60s. This is a great time of year to be in Las Vegas for sure.
Always in Las Vegas. I think sometimes we get into people start freaking out when it gets under 40 here. They don't know what to do.
Get that thin desert blood now after you've been here for a while.
It is. Guys, we got a great show. Rick, you see, I'm glad I asked you yesterday to put out those NBA picks. All of our listeners were real happy with those 2 wins.
Yeah, well, I think one of them was a Fifth Street Andrew special, but the college basketball play, I got to stop the college basketball. It's I can never win early in the year. It's been like 20 years in a row, and I just won't stop and trying. But I'm done for at least another week or 2.
Yeah, that's what one guy wrote in. He said, "Boy, when Rick gives out his NBA, he's like Warren Beatty. When he gives out his college, he's like Ned Beatty."
Yeah, I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave the college basketball to Waz over here. He's the expert in college basketball, not me.
Hey, well, now
is there a?
Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, I know you want to go into chess, so I'm going to ask you: is there chess today, or is this an off day? Are they getting treatment and ice down, getting massages, or are they actually playing chess today?
No, today is an off day. They've finished 4 games. When we come back, I'll break down that for just a little bit because we got some listeners following. They've gotten 4 draws in a row now. 4 draws in a row. Today's an off day, folks. Fifth Street Sports, Waz, Oklahoma Brian, and Florida Rick will be back in 3 minutes.
Hey, travelers. Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Attention business owners. Now is the perfect time to start saving money on your cable TV bill for your business. We can give you packages with up to 90 great channels and save your business a ton of cash. And if you call right now, you can learn how to get free equipment and free installation. Now you have choices. It's time to start saving money on your cable TV bill for your business. And call today and get 90 channels plus free equipment and free installation. Smart business owners like you all across the country are consolidating and saving money on their cable TV, internet, and phone service for their business. So now's the perfect time. This may be a limited time offer to the first 100 people that call right now, so please save money and call now.
800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. That's 800-470-7113. Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
All right, folks, we're back. Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. Well, I got something for you. I'm going to spend a few minutes on this chess because some of our listeners have been following along the whole thing. Yesterday was the shortest game of all, 2 hours and 15 minutes. There was another draw, so that's 4 draws in a row. But now the advantage slid back probably a little bit more towards Carano because now they have 8 games left, 4 white, 4 black. White has a little bit of an advantage. But I got something right up Oklahoma Brian's alley on this. If you look up this thing, there's a big controversy because Carlsen's camp has been spying on some of Carano's trainers. See, these guys seclude themselves in rooms. During this whole match, they're going to be isolated. They don't want to do nothing but concentrate, and they have trainers. They have grandmasters that they train with. So by Carlsen's team spying on Carano's, they were able to get some of Carano's grandmasters and some of his opening moves. But Carano, I think, actually used a double reverse fake and came in with the Petrov defense, forcing Carlsen to use a reverse dragon in the mid-30 moves and get a draw out of it. So, Brian, I know this one's right up your alley. These guys are spying on each other, doing double fakes. I mean, even in chess, this goes right into your playbook.
Hey, if you're not spying, you're not trying. Do we know? How did they go about doing the spying? Do they have like hidden cameras or double agents or what's going on?
That's what they're trying to figure out. You see, what happened is it leaked onto YouTube, and it was somebody leaked it on YouTube, and it was deleted within 3 minutes.
I saw that.
But it went back to it went back to Fabiano's camp, so we know that there's something going on. But they'll play again tomorrow, and I'll keep you posted on chess.
I got a question. This is kind of a newbie question because I don't really follow chess. But if we're playing face to face in a big match, and I take one of your pawns or something, it sits on the table, I guess, beside us, right? But could I throw it into the crowd like a souvenir, like a foul ball to the fans, or is that allowed? Or you have to leave it on the table.
No, you mean like if you beat like if you steal a guy's queen or he makes a bad move and you get his queen and you kind of want to spike the ball, instead you spike the queen or throw it into the crowd?
Yeah, just throw it like maybe there's a 12-year-old there that wants a souvenir. Can I toss it to him, or is that allowed?
Well, if you do that in Russia, I know that. I think that if you did that in Russia, especially during some era like this, I don't think that it would work out too well because remember during the Olympics in Russia, the guy that was doing the lighting, he didn't get one of the letters didn't come on during the opening ceremonies, and they actually found him in his hotel room, the guy who was in charge of the lighting, and they called it a suicide. But he had 28 knife wounds, and they said anybody could just trip and fall on 28 knives. What are you guys talking about? You know what I mean? That could happen to anybody. So they said, don't ever embarrass Mother Russia. So I think if a Russian player spiked a queen or a rook or a bishop into the crowd, it wouldn't be a good thing.
Okay. All right.
But anyways, you guys, getting back to it, we got Waz over here. Waz, 2 weeks into college basketball. What do you think's going on this year?
Well, it's funny. We see a couple of interesting trends. Scoring's down a tad, and I've been looking into it a little bit. Free throw shooting percentage is actually down a little bit, and three-point shooting's down a little bit as well. I think teams for three-point shooting, it kind of makes sense. I think teams are more cognitive now that the three-point shot is really the money shot in basketball. We're seeing more attempts of three-pointers than ever. Teams are valuing that more. So I think you're seeing perimeter defense getting better. Teams stepping out, not giving in and not letting anybody take any threes. So the attempts are still there, but the percentage is definitely down a little this year. So I think that's why we're seeing scoring down just a touch early on in the season.
So you think that they're not hitting the threes?
Yeah, the percentage is down a little bit. And free throws, too, which I don't really understand why free throws are down. Now, you got to remember, only 2 weeks into the season. The sample size isn't huge. Actually, less than 2 weeks into the season. So, it's not uncommon for there to be some weird trends with scoring or fouling, and we've seen it in past years, and it kind of corrects itself eventually. But if you can kind of catch on to that early on in the season, sometimes use it to your advantage when you're handicapping, because you have seen a lot of games going to the total. Will that reverse soon? I don't know. We'll see. But for now, we're definitely seeing scoring down a little bit.
Wow. You guys notice that?
No, but I believe that it's happening. I just haven't. But yeah, that's really interesting. I got a question, Eric, about college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with a guy about a week ago about this, and so like I know in the NBA, referees are announced officially, I guess, at 9 a.m. the morning of the games, but realistically, they sometimes they come out an hour early, hour and a half early, sometimes 30. It's not a real firm. It's not a real firm, execution of the release, but there is nonetheless kind of a routine in the NBA. I'm always amazed at college basketball how there doesn't seem to be any kind of uniform process for announcing referees in college basketball. Have you heard anything about kind of effort to kind of streamline that so that everyone's on the same page in terms of referee information?
Yeah, no, they haven't. They don't release that information very often. I mean, you sometimes find out maybe 5-10 minutes before the game once in a while. If people are there, obviously they can see who the officials are. But to be honest, I think they do that intentionally. I think, obviously gambling is part of the reason. It'll be interesting to see if things change, with legalized gambling nationwide. We see more states coming on board, if they will announce that a little bit ahead of time. That's one of the reasons why the NBA does it, obviously, because we had the scandal in the NBA with Tim Donaghy, and they want to make sure things run the up and up. But with college, though, and college is very anti-gambling, anti-sports betting, obviously. So I think for good reason they keep it quiet, they keep it hush. The officials themselves don't even find out many times until very late. They get their travel plans booked very late, so they don't even know where they're going next week, for instance. So it's very last minute, and that again is by design. So we'll see if it changes when the environment in sports betting changes, but I don't foresee it happening anytime soon.
I was talking to one referee this summer, though in his I won't going to mention his name or his conference, but his conference, he knows all of his games for the entire year, and he because they're independent contractors, they have to buy their own plane tickets.
Well, conference games are a little different, I think, when the non-conference versus the conference. I think for non-conference it's a little more not as planned out, or at least maybe it is, but just don't let them know. Once you get into conference season, you're only going to maybe 10 cities. That's a little more planned out. But I think right now it's a little bit more held back.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really interesting deal. Their entire season, they're independent contractors. They have very few rules in terms of how many they, in theory, could do almost a game every day. They just can't do. I think they can't do a game within 24 hours of another game. So they have to have like 24 hours. But if they're willing to, they can find the work. I mean, they can almost work 7 days a week. And it's just but I think at some point that data is going to start to leak if college basketball doesn't address this and kind of come up with a proactive way of disseminating this information so that you don't have people speculating or calling hotels, private detectives following guys to the airport to see where they're going, that kind of thing.
But are there like notoriously in college basketball, like baseball and NBA, like over and under referees?
Yeah, there's there's data out there that shows like how many fouls a game they call, which obviously fouls is probably the biggest factor to determine how many points are going to get scored in a game. So there's definitely referees that call more fouls than others. Some are more lenient. So that data's out there. You just can't really apply it because you don't know who's going to be reffing those games until basically they start. Now, once they start and maybe they'll use it to your advantage for a second half bet or a live wagering, because now live wagering is so big. So it's definitely still useful once the game gets going, but right now you just don't know before a game starts.
Wow, that is interesting.
Well, yeah, one of the big things, Frank, that distinguishes referees is and this is not just in basketball, it's really big in soccer, but the capacity that a referee has to call makeup calls. So if you get into a situation where, say, one team gets into the bonus early, they have 7, 10 fouls, whatever the magic number is, and the other team only has 2 or 3 fouls. Some referees will kind of be more likely to kind of bridge the gap, even things out, call makeup calls, whereas others are less likely. So it's really huge for live betting. But
Brian, let's talk further about that when we come back, folks. We got to take a break. Fifth Street Sports. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Back in 3 minutes. That's interesting. So the old.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252. Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
I'll open. Guys, we're back. Fifth Street Sports. We got Waz from Bettor IQ in the house, Oklahoma Brian, and Florida Rick. in between the break, boy, I was just talking to Waz about some things because I know this is all up Florida Rick and Oklahoma Brian's alley, all about on refereeing. And I'll tell you one thing: if you go to Bettor IQ, where you have Eric Waz and you have Andrew Lang, Aaron Renning, it's a great team over there, guys. You're going to get great information. Just to give you an example, in between the break, we were talking about refereeing, and then we went into umpires. So, Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about, remember they used to have like that under umpire, I think it was Hirschbeck?
Hirschbeck, yep.
Hirschbeck.
Let me cut you guys off real quick first.
Okay.
We have a message about 15 minutes ago from through our YouTube chat coming from Billy Donlin. This is for Oklahoma Brian. He's saying, Oklahoma Brian, since you're on the pulse in Oklahoma, what do you think of Oklahoma State and Tulsa this year in college basketball?
I'm gonna punt. I'm gonna send that one to Eric because I'm not the basketball guy. I'm kind of late to the basketball party. You have any? But let's get to that in a second. I'm curious to hear about the Bettor IQ product in the umpires. Let's get back to those in a second.
What I was getting at is this is how good these guys are, because look at some of the models and methods that they use, to get their formulas, to get their plays. Okay, so we know about the referees because, we all talked about the over and under referees. Now, what about how did they cure this thing in baseball where we were bet like Hirschbeck under and things like that?
Yeah, so there are some huge edges, like, the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s with umpires. So, yeah, you talked about Hirschbeck. He was a huge under umpire. You had guys that were over umpires. They all had their own strike zone. But what started to change that was when they used QuesTech, the monitoring system for each pitch. Now they use, I think, something called Pitch FX, and it might even be something else now. And what happens now with the umpires, I talked to a Major League Baseball umpire a couple of years ago on a cruise ship. They get emailed after every single game a report that essentially shows every single ball and strike behind the plate that was called by the umpire, where they missed on balls, where they missed on strikes, how far they missed it by. And they break it down, and basically if they don't adjust their strike zone to correct some of those mistakes, and there's a certain threshold they need to meet, it's somewhere in the low 90s I think they need to hit in order to, keep their jobs and stay in good standing with the league. So what happens now is everybody's kind of got a uniform strike zone, much more so than we saw 10, 20 years ago. There's still minor differences, obviously. I mean, you see guys are still called the low strike or the high strike, but it's much more uniform now. And even on the base paths, even when you're the first base umpire, third base, in the reports they send to the umpires, they say, okay, hey, you were out of position for this call, you missed this call, got overturned through a replay. So all this data is coming back about 30 to 60 minutes after each game. So what Major League Baseball is trying to do is basically, not turn these guys into robots, but try to get them to be a little more uniform. And what we saw over the last 10 years is there's really no edges that I found, at least in baseball, taking into account the umpiring when you're handicapping the game. It just doesn't really exist anymore.
Wow.
That's
depressing.
that is, Rick, I mean, you were an umpire handicapping guy, weren't you?
Yeah, well, me and Brian have done that for years. And I mean, I think the next thing that they're going to go to, in the coming years is the kind of the robot umpire, where they're going to have the guy behind the plate, but they're going to have a mic in the ear, and they're going to be told instantly if it's a ball or strike. So they're not going to have their own calls anymore. I think that's where we're headed, but we're still probably 5-6 years away from that.
Aren't they already doing that in some of the minor leagues as an experiment?
I think independent leagues, right? Some of those.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
Yeah, I know it's tough as a bettor, but as a fan, you kind of want it because when you see some of these strike zones, like the old Eric Gregg strike zone, where as long as it's within 10 feet of the plate, it's a strike. So
you want to go home early.
Yes.
So
want to get that steak. Yeah.
So with today's method, Tom Glavine would not be in the Hall of Fame, right?
or even Maddox maybe wouldn't be nearly as good.
Or Maddox, you can take away 2 or 3 of his Cy Youngs, right?
Absolutely.
But
probably all of them.
I will say, in terms of basketball officiating, I think it's much harder to come up with a standardized protocol for basketball. There's a lot more subjectivity in basketball officiating. Thankfully, I think it's one of my favorite parts of handicapping. I mean, as a handicapper, I think we like that kind of weird variable that maybe the public doesn't account for and we do. Like I know, Eric, you probably this time of year when we're in non-conference basketball, they're playing games in weird places. I bet you used to love it when they would play games on battleships or army bases.
Anything unusual, out of the norm, yeah, it's great. I mean, as a handicapper, what you really want is change. If things are always the same and it's the same as it was, it's very consistent. Even team-wise, you don't want consistent teams. You want teams that are all over the place. You want it to be hard for the bookmaker to make a good number on a game. And when you throw in different variables that aren't usually there or teams that are very volatile, it makes it hard to make a number on a game. And as handicappers, that's when we can take advantage of the mistakes. So yeah, I love it. Throw some curveballs, play a game on a battleship, go overseas, throw in a weird travel game. I mean, in college basketball, you do get a lot of that, especially cross-country trips. Even, you see a lot of games and still where a team goes from all the way in the East Coast to all the way in the West Coast. And it's really hard for college kids. They haven't even really traveled their entire lives at this point. And just to go cross-country for them is a big adjustment factor to see another part of the country. So there's some big edges there still. So, yeah, I love it when there's change. We want change, and, change is definitely good for us.
Well, Eric, give us a game this week. I
Okay.
mean, Brian, unless you got a good follow-up to that, were you going to – I know you're a battleship guy.
I do love the battleships. But the next best thing is these games in kind of weird venues. We'll talk about that here at some point. But I want a game. We all want games.
Yeah, no.
All right, here we go. From
We got a
Bettor
good one
IQ.
tonight. A really good one tonight. So Arizona plays UTEP. Now Arizona, everybody remembers last year, DeAndre Ayton, #1 pick in the NBA draft. Arizona's offense was centered around him. Their defense was centered around him. He was the main go-to guy. They had a lot of talent on last year's team. Well, this year's team's a little different. They lost a lot of the talent. Obviously, they had the FBI scandal and the tapes and everything with Sean Miller, and they lost some talent, lost some good recruits. So we have a totally different team this year. It's a guard-heavy team. They're not going to be dumping into the post. They're going to be in transition a lot. So we're going to see a lot more tempo out of Arizona this year. They're probably going to play 3 or 4 guards a lot. The point guard they have, the freshman point guard, Williams, he's kind of a blur. He's really fast. He loves to get in transition, push the ball. So we're going to see a lot more possessions. I think they're up to 7.5 possessions more per game already this season than they were at last season. And that's huge, obviously, for totals. And they're playing UTEP, who got a new coach, Rodney Terry, who likes to play fast as well. So you're going to see him playing faster. He's got the right personnel for it. So I think both these teams are going to like to get up and down, and I think we'll go well over the over tonight in the game.
What was the total when you last saw it?
Good question. I want to say it was 144-ish.
Yeah, 144.5.
Yeah, 144.5. Yeah, and I think I got it a little lower than when I bet it, but still a very good number to bet over. I think we'll be in the 150s by the time it's all said and done in that game.
Well, so there you go, folks, from Bettor IQ. He's sharing it with us on 5th Street Sports over in the Arizona-Utah game.
Yep.
All right, Brian, do you have an opinion on the side over there on that game?
I do not have it. No, I don't.
What does UTEP stand for? What does UTEP stand for again? That was what I always
Texas
heard.
El Paso.
No. The other.
You're
taking
taking
points.
There you go. Okay.
That's right. So we're going over in that game.
Okay. What about? So do you ever find yourself handicapping arenas this time of year? So obviously there's arenas that have better or worse lighting or tighter rims, looser rims.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself like?
I've got separate home court advantages for all 353 teams. So a lot of it is going back to the data over I go back 15 years, and I weight the years differently. The more recent years are definitely weighed higher because with different coaches, different systems, I think it plays differently in some arenas. But altitude's a big factor. You see a lot of the high altitude teams have a bigger home court advantage. The size of the venue is really big. Those smaller stadiums where they pack it in, the fans are right on top of the action. It's a little bit louder, a little more intense. They get a bigger home court advantage. Also, different parts of the country. Notice a lot of the teams in the Big 12 have really big home court advantages because they're kind of in the middle of the country. So every team that comes to play them out of conference is coming from a long distance, whether it's either from the west or the east. So those are the biggest factors. But yeah, I've got a different home court advantage for every team, and they do vary quite a bit. I mean, you have some teams up to like 5.5 points, and some teams as low as almost 0 points. One I can think off the top of my head is Boston College. They've never had a home court advantage of almost anything. It's less than a point. I don't know why that is exactly, but the data proves it out over the long term. So KenPom started incorporating home court advantage team by team in the last, I think, 2 years. So it has taken away a lot of my edge in that, but I don't think he has them quite right yet. He hasn't weighed them properly. I don't think he's put a lot of work into researching them, but there's definitely huge differences from arena to arena in college basketball.
And so that's really interesting. Specifically, I was looking at the over-unders in terms of arenas, softer, harder rims to shoot on. I think that this is one of the really most under-scrutinized variables. And I think a lot of teams themselves don't realize that the rims are typically only measured about once per year. And there's a window of tension that each team can set their rims at. And teams frequently will set those rims with a tension that favors their style of play. And that also can affect totals.
Wow. Brian, when we come back, let's expand on that, because we got a great feedback the last time you talked about the rim things, and it's that this time of the season. Fifth Street Sports, we got Oklahoma Brian, Florida Rick, and Eric Waz from Bettor IQ. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
The holidays are so full of cheer, there's barely time to make dinner. So order the Chili's 3 for $10 deal to go.
Take Chili's to go, baby, go, baby, go.
You'll sing when you get an entree, starter, and Coke for just $10.
3 for $10, baby, bucks, baby, bucks.
Order Chili's for the whole family.
Mom, dad, and kids, baby, kids.
And relax with Chili's at home.
While you sit on your butt, baby butt.
Hey, not in front of the kids.
3 for $10, baby, bucks, baby, bucks. And take your Chili's to go, baby, go, baby, go.
Available at participating restaurants only.
Yeah, we sort of stopped paying attention and racked up a lot of debt.
Yeah, it was stressful. He blamed me for my credit card debt, and I blamed him for building that man cave.
It's awesome. Anyway, we stopped blaming each other, did our homework, and read that a smart way to consolidate debt is to get a fixed-rate loan. But getting a loan was brutal.
And a time drain.
So I was in my man cave researching personal loans, and I found Best Egg.
Yep.
They have an A+ rating with the BBB, and Best Egg handles everything online, start to finish.
And Consumer Affairs gave Best Egg 5 stars for their easy online loan app. And we could be approved and funded in as little as 1 business day. I applied online with no impact to my credit score.
She always takes credit for my wins, but long story short, she got an awesome loan, paid off our cards and some bills while lowering our monthly payment. The Best Egg loan was like a total fresh start.
Yeah.
Visit bestegg.com/blue. bestegg.com/blue. Subject to credit approval. Actual rates, fees, and approval times will vary.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Looking for the next great crowdfunding opportunity? Check out Pond Hop, the rewards marketing engagement program for small to medium-sized businesses. Currently funding on Kickstarter, this is a great chance to get in at the start of an innovative way to use social media to grow your business. Co-founded by one of Facebook's founding engineers, Pond Hop uses a unique point system to give business owners a fun way to reward their loyal clients and customers. To learn more and to make a pledge, head to Kickstarter and search for Pond Hop, revolutionizing rewards for consumers and businesses. Pond Hop.
Guys, we're back. Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. Also, I want to give out a big, we've on Veterans Day, which was Monday, we didn't have a show to the American Forces Network out there listening to us, you guys. We want to thank you once again for all you do for us and the possible life that you guys give us with all of your service. Thank you. Anyways, Brian, getting back to the hard and soft rims in college basketball, I remember when they played the Maui Invitational there in Lahaina. I used to see those games going so fast all the time, and I wanted to ask Eric, what did he think? Was there anything going on with the rims there?
Yeah, so they pretty much blatantly, if you go on the internet and read about it, I mean, they definitely loosen those rims for those games. I mean, you watch those games, you watch the ball bouncing on the rim. You get a lot of friendly bounces that go in, and they're trying to stir a high scoring fest for the fans, and they only play, I believe, Maui Classic, Maui Invitational are the only games that get played in that Lahaina arena. And I think if you go back 10, 15 years, look at the data, close to 60% of games in the Maui Invitational go over the total. Now, it's lessened in the last few years because people catch on to that, but that's a great example of the rims being a little different there than they are everywhere else.
So there's your Hawaiian rims.
Point.
There's your Hawaiian rims.
Yeah, that's a great point. And hey, would you agree that maybe we don't tell people to use round robins on a regular basis, but when you get into kind of funky rim situations, this is a time to consider using the round robin bet if it's not something you normally use, because you've got a great chance of scooping going 4-0.
Yeah, because if you got something that's correlated, obviously, and that's you can leverage better through a round robin or a parlay. I mean, yeah, that's a great example, because if the first game goes way over the total, the next three are probably more likely to go way over the total. So if you can get them all together and leverage that advantage, yeah, that's a perfect example to use a round robin or a parlay or something along those lines, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
I know
and
that's
this year. I guess the first time.
Go ahead.
I would say this is the first time in this tournament that Maui Chaminade is not going to be playing. I think they made a new rule starting last year. Chaminade is going to be playing once every other year. So they're not playing the tournament this year. So
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
This year?
They will be in next year, but not this year.
Okay. I know Illinois is in there.
It's going to be every other year.
Gonzaga plays Illinois, and Duke's in there, right?
Duke, San Diego State. I think Auburn. Yep. Auburn's in there, and Arizona's playing Iowa State too. So yeah, it's a very good field, and it's kind of I mean, we want to see Chaminade because it's fun to watch, like the Division II team, that would never play these teams in there against the top teams in the country, but it's also better competition when you get
They won a game last year. I think they won a game. Was it last year or 2 years ago? They actually beat somebody in the
they've won a couple in the third game when they're playing the losers bracket, like 7th place game. They've won a couple of those over the last 5 years.
Yeah,
I don't remember who they beat, but yeah, I guess they're still this is like their season, so they got 3 Super Bowls. The other teams only have like 1. So yeah, you'll see them again next year though. So if you want to make a trip down to Maui, you see Chaminade.
What about the Alaskan Shootout? Is Alaska Anchorage still going to be doing the Alaskan Shootout every year?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they don't get top tier teams in that shootout for many years now. They usually only get one power conference team now, and they get a bunch of mid majors that play in that tournament. So we'll still see the Seawolves at 2:30 in the morning Eastern here on Thanksgiving weekend.
I love midnight basketball. I mean, middle of the night. I mean, we can't beat that. Nothing wrong with that.
It makes the Alaska Shootout worth watching.
Sure,
but if it's, so are you guys really, this midnight basketball is really 3 in the morning for you guys? Because if it's midnight for us, right?
Yeah, well, the late Alaska game will start, I think, at 2:30 a.m. local time. So yeah, we get to look forward to that the night before the Friday or Saturday.
Used to do that 24 hours straight of hoops. They stopped doing that. I think this did that last year or 2 years ago. They stopped it. That was fun. They went all the way around the clock and. It was hoops for 24 hours straight, and it was so many games, and I stayed up all night because I was doing the second halves, and I wanted to take in the games. It was fun, and they took that away for some reason. I don't know why.
It was fun. It was.
One thing that while we're talking about rims, I think is a great tool for bettors to consider is a lot of times when they play these tournaments and kind of funky one-off places. You're kind of wondering, well, what the rims are going to be like this year, or, is it going to be the same as last year? There's typically a women's tournament or like a lesser tier tournament, like a JV tournament that takes place. I remember that. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyways, there's usually like a minor tournament that takes place beforehand. You can kind of gauge a lot of times the how soft the rims are by looking at the scores of say the women's tournament and kind of comparing those scores maybe not so much now because you don't have enough data points, but when we get into the Christmas tournaments, if you kind of look at the women's scores, compare them to what they should be, sometimes it's a little bit of a tell. I saw we just had a viewer with a question about or a comment about Shaman out of Virginia. You want to read that off, Andrew?
Andrew, let's read this off. This is on Fifth Street Social.
Yeah, no problem. Greg Spinder came in saying, biggest upset in college hoops ever. Chaminade beat #1 Virginia with Ralph Sampson.
Wow. Hey, speaking of Fifth Street Social, Brian, let me get you off the hook with this because I was talking to Waz here during the break because the question from Billy Donlin was to you since you're in Oklahoma, and he asked you about Oklahoma, Tulsa, and Oklahoma State, and you kind of gave him the old deer in the headlight look. So I will go to Waz, did just a little bit here, Billy, just so, because I know you're an avid listener and fan, and we're going to give you a little bit of something on that.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma, obviously, there's going to be big changes there. No Trae Young. I mean, obviously, he was the story of college basketball last year. They played super fast. They were one of the highest scoring teams in the country amongst the Power 5 conferences. He's gone now. Obviously, he's in the NBA. Still shooting 40-footers, it seems like, every couple of nights. He's a fantastic shooter. So they're not going to play nearly as fast. They got a couple of younger point guards kind of taking over. One's a transfer and one's a freshman, I believe, at Oklahoma. So they're not going to play as fast. I think tempo-wise, you can probably bet them under a lot early on in the season, probably make some money. I think they're going to be a notch or two down. They lost the big guy. I think Latin is gone as well, blocking shots around the rim. So he's gone. Tulsa, I love Tulsa because they're usually good grinded out. They like to keep the game close every time. I like the coach, their Haith. I think they're a good team to probably go under on early in the season. And once conference play, one thing with them I notice every year is if they don't play well during non-conference play, it doesn't really mean anything. When they come to conference, they're a totally different team. So I think they're a good team you can back once you get conference season. Oklahoma State, I'll be honest, is still a wild card for me. I don't have a good feel for them quite yet. I don't have a good feel for the coach either, to be honest. It's with last year being the first year, so we'll see on Oklahoma State. But there's a lot of teams I have on my list like that where I need to see at least 4, 5, 6 games before I make a determination. But that's what's great because you can look at Ken Pom, the systems out there that rate the teams, and there's a lot of variance between certain teams on different sites. And when you see that, okay, there's an advantage to be had. And Oklahoma State's one of those teams. I've seen people have them rated as high as, a top 50, 60 team. And other places have them like near maybe 100 overall, something like that. So when you see that discrepancy, it's really a good chance to say, hey, let me watch some of these games. Let me read about them a little bit. Look at the lineup. Look at the box scores. And I could probably find an edge there if I can figure it out before everybody else does. So wait and see on Oklahoma State.
There you go, Billy. Brian, that one was from your, Billy Donlin. Like you're like his biggest fan. Celebrity. So there you go. That's for Billy from Oklahoma, Brian Lateral.
I'm not sure that he's not a 12-year-old kid. We don't know that he's even an adult. Might be our only. He's like the Mel from Flight of the Conchords.
Well, Billy, listen. If you're under 18 or I don't know what state or 21, play responsibly. Don't be stealing your dad's money and betting and gambling on these cards or getting your cousins to make bets for you, buddy. We don't want to get you addicted to stay in school. Don't do like us. I mean, look what sports gambling has done look what it made out of all of us, right? We're nervous wrecks. So anyway, you guys, we got.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. You know what that means, right? Rockford's picks. Rockford's in the house here today, you guys. He's come in with game 314, North Texas -3, and game 316, SMU -8.5. That's Rockford's first 2 plays releases for the week. So, we're charting him. I think he's right around 500 now, so he's getting his stride. He started off bad. But anyways,
Frank, SMU's an 8.5-point dog. They're plus 8.5
Oh, shoot.
against Memphis. So.
Okay, we put that wrong. They're an 8.5-point dog. Hey, Rick, speaking of, this is Fifth Street talk you can bet on. Brother, the people over here, they are just jonesing for your NBA stuff here. You got anything for them?
Yeah, I do have a couple games tonight that I really like a lot, and I guess I'll go over them really quick right now with you.
Well,
The first is a game that we didn't discuss yesterday, but it was Cleveland was playing Charlotte yesterday at home. They went from I think a 5 to an 8.5 point dog because they ended up having 5 players out. Anyway, then as we saw, when those situations over the years, what do we do, Frank? We usually wait for that line to peak, then we just pound the dog and saying, these guys tend to show up the first time that they're without all their players. And sure enough, Cleveland wins by 24. We didn't discuss that one yesterday, but today, now what happens is Cleveland's playing back-to-back. They're traveling. They're playing at Washington. That usually lasts for about one game in those situations where they come out on fire. They can't wait to get out there. These guys that don't usually play are playing 20, 30 minutes. Well, the next night when they do the same thing, it doesn't turn out as well. And I think tonight's that night where Cleveland just gets shellacked. I'm looking at Washington here as 11.5 point favorite. I think they're covering this by halftime. I think they're going to win this game, well over 15 points, maybe in the 20 to 30 point range. So I do like Washington a lot as 11.5 point favorite. And you know what we say, we're not favorite bettors here, but sometimes you got to take the spots when you get them. And I think this is a great spot to bet Washington. The other game that I have my eye on is game 7-14. Minnesota is a 1 point dog at home against New Orleans. This is another one of these situations where New Orleans is coming off a great game where they had a big win the other night, and now they're traveling to Minnesota. Minnesota's playing their second game now without Jimmy Butler. They don't have the all the infighting now, and now they're going to play a much more free game, as you saw against Brooklyn. They beat up Brooklyn the other night without him, and now they're playing their second game in a row at home without him. And I think New Orleans is coming off a high. They're not going to play as well this game against at Minnesota. Minnesota's, I think, should be favored in the spot, but what do I know? Anyway, we're getting one at home, and I like that one a lot. So 7-04 Washington minus 11.5 and 7-14 Minnesota +1 are my 2 NBA plays tonight.
Brian, what about you? You got anything?
I like the under a little bit in the football game tonight with Northern Illinois and Miami of Ohio.
Oh, by the way, I know Rick pays attention to me sometimes, right?
That was you, Frank.
Him.
I was about to say that earlier.
Mm-hmm. That
was a great pick last night.
Right? I mean, I got it from you guys. You guys love those Mac dog money, straight up. And that's why I chose that game. We had to get there in overtime, but we did win. What do you guys think of the 2 games tonight? Well,
that's
the college football tonight.
Yeah, I like the Northern Illinois under tonight. Under 48 in Northern Illinois is a play for me.
Over in the Buffalo game.
Over in Buffalo. Under. Okay. How about you, Rick? Anything?
I lean both dogs here. I lean Miami of Ohio. If you can get 7, grab the 7 and plus like 240 money line or so. And I'd lean Buffalo. I don't love it, but I would take the 2.5. But I agree with Waz, the over in that game, and I would tend to bet Miami of Ohio and under in the Miami of Ohio Northern Illinois game.
So there you go, guys. That's a lot of stuff you can make some money on. Rick's been red hot. Brian's been really good as usual, steady. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned. We'll have a couple more things for you. Fifth Street Sports. Stay tuned.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the Sports Talk host. I can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball, But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
All right, folks, we're back here on Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. We've had Eric Waz in the house with us today sharing some really good stuff. If you want to go to his website, it's Bettor IQ, really good today, and especially today because today's Wednesdays and they have a real promotion over there. It's $5 Wednesdays. That's for $5. You get actually top-of-the-line picks from, Aaron Renning, Andrew Lang, Eric Waz, $5 a sport. You can't beat it. It's a great thing on Wednesdays. You guys, as usual, everybody we've brought in the house has been nothing but excellent on this show, and we recommend Bettor IQ. We also have our Fifth Street Advantage. Don't forget that. We've been red hot with that one. But we had a message during the break, and this one's going to be either for Oklahoma Brian or Florida Rick because Waz and I got nothing on it. And, Andrew, what's the message?
Yeah, it came in from Mark Bosler. Do you think the favorite on Thursday night NFL football can cover again for the 9th week in a row? Not sure I can bet against Aaron Rodgers. Brian and Rick.
Or Rick.
That's wild. I had no idea that was the case. I know home teams.
We're going to discuss this game a lot. Yeah, we're going to discuss this game a lot tomorrow. But early on, I would definitely be inclined to like Seattle right now at home on a Thursday night. But tomorrow's Thursday, and we always talk in depth about the Thursday night game. So we'll be discussing that game a lot tomorrow.
So Mark, don't hold Rick to it because he just said tomorrow we're going to analyze this game. So that's just a preliminary. Don't hold him to it.
I believe they call that a tease. Good job there.
That's Rick, great. That was great. A tease. So they got to tune in tomorrow now, right?
Yeah. If they want to get the full in-depth breakdown of the game, but early lean would be Seattle. Yeah, and a 9th week in a row cover. Yeah.
Hey, I got a quick question. I know we're running out of time. You came on with the Colts for football this year in the NFL, and they've been much better than expected, Eric.
Yeah.
Give us a college basketball team that you like this year that you're going to be on repeatedly.
Syracuse is probably the team. They brought everybody back from last year. It never happens for Syracuse, so I think Syracuse is a good bet for probably the next 10, 15 games.
There you go, guys. We're out of time. Fifth Street Sports, we appreciate you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you once again.
USA Radio News.
President Trump spoke on Wednesday with California Governor Jerry Brown to offer